All right, welcome back, folks, to Live Impact News. Vanessa Rufus here alongside our sports director, Nick Carboni. As we mentioned before we went to break, we've got to talk about some big Panthers news. We are in the legal tampering period, and just as the clock struck noon, my phone went ding, 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 ding. But yeah, let's talk about Jaelan Phillips.
Yeah, this is a big swing at a very big position of need for the Carolina Panthers. So Jaelan Phillips was considered the top or one of the top pass rushers on the NFL free agent market. He's a big dude, 6'5", 266. He was drafted by Miami, played a handful of seasons there, was traded to Philadelphia mid-season last year, and blossomed there as well. The Panthers, as we know, have had big-time issues getting to the quarterback. They were 30th in sacks this last year, 29th the year before, and dead last in 2023. Those are all the years Bryce Young has been on the team. Getting after the quarterback on defense absolutely frees your quarterback up to go out there, get good field position, and make big plays and operate, hopefully, from a lead in a game, which has been an issue for the Panthers even in their playoff season this last year. So this is a big swing. 4 years, $120 million. Obviously, the math on that, is $30 million a year for this guy, and he has an injury history that we can talk about.
Well, and I don't know where you want to go with this first, the injury history or the
Let's go with the positives.
The money?
Yeah. So,
because we're getting close to that.
Yes. So I think Carolina,
cap,
listen, they obviously know what their budget is going to be. And listen, when you talk about spending this kind of money on a defensive player, Carolina tried to do that last year with Milton Williams, the defensive tackle. Were outbid by the New England Patriots for about $5 million less than this deal was. They need to go out and pay top flight players at premier positions at this point to take the next step for the franchise. They're happy they got to the playoffs. They know that they need to still improve, especially in this area. So, listen, you're looking at A'Shawn Robinson, a very solid defensive tackle, most likely getting cut or traded to free up $10.5 million. You could restructure contracts to veterans who just signed big deals like J.C. Horn, Derek Brown. They've done that. The Panthers have in the past. So there are smart ways to do it to make this fit. I'm sure that's all part of the plan, and we'll see those dominoes fall next. But Dan Morgan felt like we've got to solve pass rush. It hasn't been good enough or nearly good enough for at least a handful of years. That is the next step for our program to take the next step.
So, obviously, Phillips, a big acquisition. We have a couple more days within this window. Do you foresee anything else happening?
Well, the Panthers are without a center now. Cade Mays, who started 12 games for them last year, has been, part of the team for several years, a draft pick who was then cut, released, bounced around, came back, was able to really fill in nicely on the interior offensive line, so nicely that he was rewarded with a big contract by the Detroit Lions in this free agency period. So he is gone. Is that center going to come from within? Are they going to draft one? Are they going to sign one? So that is a need. They're always going to look to improve at skill position, pass catcher. I don't think Rico Dowdle will be back. Do they grab another running back, draft another running back? Jonathan Brooks will be back. They had ETN last year as a rookie and obviously have Chuba Hubbard to carry the load. I think that, linebacker is the big one. Whether they draft the inside linebacker or still go out and pursue one of the guys that's at the top of the list, it wouldn't be as a top flight linebacker would not be as expensive as this contract, you think, for a pass rusher. But yeah, now there's a few less dollars to work with there. So I think that's kind of next for them. Center, there's a void now, and still looking for that middle linebacker of the future.
Any downsides you see with Phillips?
It is a gamble because of his injury history. Yeah. So he has missed 22 games in his career. So he's played 63 of a possible 85. He had an Achilles injury in 2023, partially tore his ACL in 2024. You look at his sack numbers, they started at 8.5 his rookie year in 21 with Miami, and they've gone progressively down. There's been a lot of missed time. That said, you hope those big kind of like out of your control injuries are behind him, and he can stay healthy, because when he's healthy, he's an explosive playmaker. And if he's not making the sack, he could create sack opportunities for others. He gets his hand on passes. He had a lot of passes defense, especially after he got to Philadelphia. He played in Vic Fangio's defense several times. That is the same defense Ijero Evero runs. So I think there's already probably a plan of how to deploy Jaelan Phillips immediately on this defense. So I think the only real risk is you're paying a lot of money for a guy who hasn't always been healthy, but when he has been healthy, he's proven to be a very dynamic playmaking edge rusher.
Yeah. Well, I know that you mentioned that you wanted to talk about the Mike Evans stuff. Obviously,
Who doesn't, Vanessa? For the first time in 13 years, the Carolina Panthers don't have a scheduled game against Mike Evans, who has absolutely been a scourge on them, a thorn in their side for over a decade in the division with the Bucs, a future Hall of Famer, 1,000-yard receiver just about every year when he's been healthy, which has been just about every year, does his best and finest work against the Carolina Panthers. He owns all of the records of, how an opposing receiver has done against Carolina in yards and touchdowns and catches. So he's off to San Francisco, not out of the conference, but out of the division and off of the 2026 schedule. So they go from facing him twice a year for a dozen years to not, if they have to face him, it's in the playoffs, and that's great.
Yeah. It's so weird to me because, I've not made this a secret. I came to Charlotte from Tampa and had lived in Tampa for probably about 6 years or so. I'm starting in 2014.
Yeah, he's a massive part of that community. His agent
yeah.
released a statement on his behalf talking about how, glowingly about his time there. It's the type of thing you do when there's a breakup like that in the NFL. Certainly no animosity on either side. It was just time for him to take his talents elsewhere. And he's earned another contract in his career, which is amazing, and he's going to get it from San Francisco. I'm excited to see what Kyle Shanahan can do with him there, but I think on the minds of most Panthers fans, he's gone. we can breathe a sigh of relief. Now Tampa's got other pass catchers that look to be really good, but he's not going to be one of them.
Yeah, and we'll see if Mike Evans falls to the curse of the injuries going to 40.
Oh, I know, yeah, with that whole thing.
Sorry, Jeb.
The substation.
Sorry.
Listen, as with everything with this deal for Mike Evans to the 49ers, no longer the Panthers' problem. So,
there you go.
Yeah, they'll be watching from afar.
I definitely did not mean to shade our producer, Jeb Goldman. Did you want to weigh in, Jeb, at all?
Vanessa just really said 49ers, it's a bottomless pit of despair. For injury. It's all right. Mike Evans is going to score 2,000 yards. You heard it here. Live Impact News right here. Mike Evans, 2,000 yards.
So nobody else will catch a pass.
So he's just going to run
no
forever
George Kittle,
and ever
no Christian
and
McCaffrey.
Nope, it's all going to Mike
sleep.
Evans. He's going to be electric. You're never going to see anything like it.
And he won't sleep.
Nope.
Racking up those 2,000 yards. All right. Nick, anything else you want to talk about?
I think this Phillips thing right now is the big get for the Panthers. And we'll see if they make a move at off-ball inside linebacker this week. Still wouldn't be surprised to see them do so. Not sure they love the options there in the first round of the draft. Offensive tackle is another position I did not mention, with Ikem Ekwonu out for at least the first portion of the year with his ruptured patellar tendon that he suffered in the playoff game. I think that may be, a lower cost veteran or a guy on the team like Josh Nijman, potentially a draft pick as well, even in the first round. But this has been an anemic stat for the Panthers the last 3 years. Sacks on the quarterback. They need to improve it. Jaelan Phillips should help them do so. He's going to get paid as if he could have double-digit sack seasons, which he's never done. But he's also going to free other players up. You saw what he did in tandem with the great defensive tackles for the Eagles, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Derek Brown should reap some of the benefits. Younger pass rushers like Nick Scorton and Princely Uman-Mielen, and then Pat Jones, when he comes back, should reap the benefits of Jaelan Phillips being on the football field.
Wow. I'm excited.
I think it's an exciting move, and it's a big swing for a franchise that is ready to make a big jump.
Well, I think we got a little taste, right?
Yeah.
Of almost there.
Yep. Got to the playoffs,
Yeah.
but getting to that quarterback, especially on that last drive by Matt Stafford, you got to have somebody that can chase him down.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that. It was such a great game.
Yeah, it was. It was,
great.
and it showed, I think, the franchise and the front office, we got to start adding some of these pieces now.
Yeah.
Like, we're ready to make a big run. So that's the hope with Jaelan Phillips.
If you build it, we will come.
They have been. Yep.
All right, Nick, thanks so much.
You got it.
Always great to see you.